Welcome. Welcome to today's webinar. I am very pleased to have you here. I hope you can hear me okay. Please do make sure to use the chat. All you'd like. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your comments to everything. And I will answer questions as we go along. That you post in the chat box, and any other questions I get along the presentation. So today, what I'd like to talk to you about is the topic of staying fit with family, career, and everything else you enjoy in life. I've been running a training for the last 7 days about this topic as well. It's obviously a big topic. It is not something that you can cover in just a few minutes, but it's a fascinating topic and something that interests me an awful lot, and that I've spent a long time getting better at understanding myself, because it has a big impact on how I feel myself and on how I care for myself. So I will just wait a few more moments to make sure that everybody gets a chance to come and join. Do let me know if you have any questions as we go along. I am very happy to answer questions. I'll do them towards the end of the webinar, though, just in order to stay a little bit on topic as we go through the different slides, so that it becomes more of a continuous event. So I will get started. Today's topic is how to stay fit with family, career, and everything else you enjoy in life. Thank you very much for joining. I'm very happy to have you here with me today. Just a few points on housekeeping. I would encourage you, this is not going to be a very long webinar, so I would highly encourage you to turn off anything else you've got going in the background while we're doing this, just to be able to really focus on what we're doing here. It's always a better thing to try and do one thing at a time whenever we can. I know I'm guilty of it as well, of trying to do many things at the same time, but you will get a lot more out of this if you actually take just a few minutes out and focus on just this while the presentation is going on. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dorte. I'm a nutritionist, and I'm also a mother of 3 girls. I have a background working in business, which I've done for many years. I have an MBA, and I speak numerous languages as well. I always loved that. I've always loved working, but I was always very drawn as well to health and fitness, which is really my true passion. For many years I tried to find a way to combine both of these things, but if any of you are working in business, then you know how demanding and time consuming that can be, and how much focus it can take. So it was really only something I was able to do in my free time, to the extent that I had any of that. So for years I tried to find a way to make this into, or health and fitness into, a career, using also my business skills, which is essentially what I'm doing today. And I have created, as a result, a number of courses specifically for women who are a little bit like me, who love creating, who love working, who have a very dynamic life, and who like being busy with both family and home and career, and to help them have everything that they want and that they need, but also be fit and healthy at the same time, because finding time for all of those things is not easy at all. Because essentially finding the balance is very hard. It's made even harder because we have so little time available, and especially if we have children as well, family, homes, and everything, we really have very little time available for ourselves, for being just us, for focusing on just us. It's often not just a question of time either. It's also figuring out what we're going to do and when we will do it and how we will do it, and all of this has to fit into a tight schedule, and that doesn't always run to plan. If any of you travel as well, then you know how that can throw it even further. And all in all, it can be a really hard balance to get right. Also, health and fitness is a fashion. It's very fashionable. They talk about it on the media all of the time. We get swamped in books, magazines, articles, specialists, new gurus who tell us that now we have to not eat that or to eat this all of the time. And it's very, very easy that we get swayed by all of this. It's fascinating stuff. We obviously want to know all of the secrets and to test it and everything. So very often what then happens is that we actually get completely thrown off course, and we end up being much worse off than we were at the beginning. So for that reason, I find that what we actually need is practical tools and solutions, really tangible, no nonsense, real stuff. And that these are solutions and tools that we can actually fit around our own life needs. We need to be able to continue with our life and the needs that we have in our life. And all of the health and fitness has to become a part of that lifestyle so that we can fit it in as we go along, as opposed to the other way around. And we also need it to be lasting results, or lasting habits and results. We want to get the results as well. Very often we do different things, but we don't actually get any results out of it, which is extremely frustrating. We spend so much time trying to do something, and it doesn't actually lead us to, it doesn't get us to where we want to be. So that's why these real solutions, in order to be real solutions, have to actually create lasting habits for ourselves, which means, again, it has to become part of our life, but it has to become part of that life that we actually really, really enjoy. And last thing is that we are all unique. So that's why one solution is not going to be the right solution for everybody else. Habits for ourselves. We are all unique, and that needs to be taken into account in any program that we make. For it all to work, the key elements really are, one, simplicity. Just real, honest nutrition advice, real honest exercise, and self-care routines. That's really essentially what we need. It probably doesn't come as any surprise to you, but with the overload of information we've got, we often end up in overwhelm and anything but simplicity. So this is really going back to simplicity, using simplicity as the key to getting to what you need. Habits are what you need to create that easy flow of daily routines to make it all happen every single day. So I'll talk a lot more about habits later on, but this is really key to actually making it happen. And mindset is really essential for the long run, because if you're not in the right mindset, then it's not going to happen, because you will end up in diet-like situations with deprivation, but not in the real sort of thriving, beautiful you living an inspired and healthy life, which is really where you want to be. And this is exactly what I'll try to show you today, what all of that means. So today you really are in the right place if what you want to do is to discover how to stay fit with family, career, and everything else you enjoy in life. So stick with me, and I will show you just exactly how we're going to do that. So today what we'll cover is, to start with, how to eat for health and weight loss. I'll show you exactly what you need to do if you want to eat for health, but also for weight loss, which I know is a key thing for many of us, not least in the sort of around festive season, or maybe perhaps after the festive season that we're about to go into. I'll also show you how to fit in exercise, even when you already have a very full life, because it doesn't have to necessarily have to do so much with how many other things you've got going on. I'll show you how to cook healthy food every day. And cook food that meets your needs as well as your family's needs. I'll give you a resource for actually doing that. And I'll show you how to create new and lasting habits. I'll also show you how to reach your goals consistently, also when you have so many other things going on in your life that you're doing. But how to keep that focus on what you want to achieve, so that you don't have to feel that you go back to square one all of the time. And I will show you how to develop a health and fitness mindset, which is really what will help you keep fit for life. So I promise today to cover as much as possible as I can of this topic in the time that we have available. I'll try to keep it short at the same time, because I know that everybody's busy and you've got other things to do. So I will cover as much as I can, and I will give you many other opportunities to dive deeper into the topics that you are interested in, and show you what else you can do to take it much further. So my own background is that not so long ago, my life actually felt fairly hectic and a little bit overwhelming. I'm a mother of 3 girls, 3 daughters, and I've fairly much always been working either for myself or in business jobs, and I've always had very little time for myself, and I really, really struggle to take that time out for myself as well, because I think that's part of it actually, is taking the time out. There are so many needs on us, both from our jobs, our husbands, the home that needs to be cleaned, the washing, the dinners, we need to make sure that we think about what's in the fridge, and not, let alone our bosses at work and the presentations we have to deliver, the trips we have to go on. So there is often very, very little time left for ourselves and to focus on ourselves, which may be a stark contrast as well to the way we used to be once upon a time. And I didn't really like how I felt in my body anymore either. My clothes didn't feel very good, and I didn't actually feel particularly good in myself, nor did I feel like myself anymore. I felt like I had a little bit lost myself. I didn't particularly recognize that person in the mirror anymore. And I really longed for realistic options for feeling good again. I wanted to have those tangible, good solutions that I could fit in around my life, even because I don't want to give up. I didn't want to give up all of my business life, I obviously don't want to give up time with my kids or with my husband. I don't really want to have to give up on all of these things that I enjoy in my life. I like working, I like being a mum, but I wanted to find the solutions that I could do while doing all of these other things. And I really, really long to see myself really thrive in all of my different life roles. And that's what I want to, this is what I've put together in my health coaching programs in order to try and help you to do exactly that as well. Because I have a deep passion for all things healthy. I always have done since I was a very young girl. I had the sad event of, I lost my mother when I was a young girl. And seeing her ill sparked a deep interest in me to understand what it actually means to be healthy. I'm also somebody who, I do have to work myself to be slim and fit. So I was really very interested, or I always have been very interested in understanding exactly how that is done. And I am very passionate about inspiring others as well, and helping others to feel good as well, and to make that real difference, because I know exactly what it feels like when you don't feel tippity-top, and we actually all deserve to feel beautiful and healthy and vibrant and full of energy. So today I'm a certified nutritionist as well, and a wellness coach. I do have a number of different certifications that I've added on, and I keep adding on more as well to my credentials, because it is what I burn for, it's what I'm passionate about. And I've also created a signature body wellness program, which is called Beautiful Vibrant You, and that's really all about helping you rediscover yourself, rediscovering yourself in what you are at the core, which is a beautiful, vibrant, energetic woman, and with lots and lots to offer to yourself and to the people around you in your life. And because of my personal journey, I know exactly how hard it can seem to be fit and healthy. I know exactly how frustrating it can feel when you don't get the results you long for, because just like you, I've done so many different things. I tried just about any diet. It's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of knowing what I should do, but I never really got anywhere. So I also know what it feels like to look at others and to see how they seem to just manage to do all of those things that I can't, or that I couldn't, or that you might not feel that you can, and they make it seem so easy as well. And it leaves you with that feeling of, it will never happen to me. I am just rubbish. I'm not as good as the others. And I know as well how hard that can make it feel to stay motivated and to make it all happen, because obviously results they don't happen overnight. They do take time. And it takes both time and effort. And especially if you have to think it all up yourself. If somebody tells you what you can do, then it's so much easier. But with the overload of information we've actually got too many things at our hand, and we end up often running in lots of different directions, and not necessarily the right one. So yeah, it's not really about what about knowing what to do, because I'm sure you know what you should be doing. We all know what it is to be healthy, or I think most of us know what we really ought to be doing, but it is making it happen. And that's what can really, really make a big difference, is understanding how to make it happen, because life gets in the way. And I know exactly how life gets in the way. I have lots of children, and I have a little dog, and I have a house, I have my career, my husband, and there are just so many things going on. And sometimes we plan things, but they don't always end up going exactly to plan. So that I will show you just the steps you can take to actually overcome all of these challenges and to make it all happen for you. So in today's webinar, I will show you the first steps you can take in making it happen for you as well. It's just like I have made it happen for you. I will show you the various elements you need to take into account and how to fit it all in. And I'll show you how to eat for health and fitness, and how to fit in exercise as well, and what you need to do to create lasting change and results. So stick with me and we will start going through it. I'll start with the 5 steps to health and fitness, which is number 1 is you need to eat for good health and for your ideal weight. And this is very possible even when you have to cook for both yourself and for your family's needs. You need to fit in regular exercise. I'm sure you already know that, but it is important to fit in exercise. Even when you're really, really busy and it feels like you haven't got any more time, it is important to take that time out to fit in the exercise. And you need to create new and lasting habits, the ones that will really be what will transform your body and your life going forwards. And I'll show you how to reach your goals as well, teaching you how to move towards your goal just one step at a time, which is really at the core of this. And I'll show you how to develop a health and fitness mindset for life, so that you will never, ever need to even consider a diet again. So we'll start with nutrition, because eating correctly is the fastest way to see visible results. It's not the only thing you have to do, but it is what will show you results of the soonest after you start making an effort. In fact, I think most research agrees that it's about 80% of our visible results, our physical results, is down to what we eat, how we eat. So do spend some time getting the nutrition right, and it will pay off. You need to be consistent with your efforts. So having one day on, one day off may not be the best thing. Be consistent, and you will see results much, much sooner. But by all means, avoid deprivation and avoid extremes, because deprivation is just, it's not a lasting solution. So yes, you may be able to crash diet for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or however long you can do it, but eventually you will long so much to have real food, real things that give you real pleasure, and it will essentially just take you back to where you were before, and you can start all over again. Also, you need to eat also for health, not only for weight, because it's really, health is what it's all about. We cannot, if we only eat for weight loss, then our bodies will be deprived and will be lacking in nutrients, and it will not be a long-lasting positive result. You also need to be patient. It takes time. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing good happens overnight. So therefore, you have to be patient. You have to set your inner timers to acknowledge that this is not something that you just do for a week or 2 weeks. It is not, maybe like me, you grew up with the times of 2-week crash diets during which you were promised to lose 10 kilos or something like that. It doesn't actually happen like that. Well, you may be able to lose 10 kilos, but they're not fat kilos, so there is absolutely no point. So be patient. It does happen. You may not be able to see it, so therefore make sure that you do things like measuring you can measure with a measuring tape. You can measure your circumference. You can measure your waist, your thighs, your hips, for instance. It works much, much better than using the scales. And use this to stay on track, because you will see that the results are coming. And you can follow the 5 rules to eating for fat loss, which I will show you in the next slide. So the 5 rules for eating to eating for fat loss are: number 1 is eat slowly and until you are 80% full. It takes a little while for your stomach to register that you have eaten. So 80% full actually means that you are full if you just leave it a little bit of time. You should include protein with every single meal. Protein keeps you satisfied and full. So make sure that for every meal that you eat, you have protein. This includes a breakfast as well. I know it can be a little bit hard sometimes to think of what to eat in terms of protein for breakfast, but there are many options. If you go onto my blog, which is on the website that we're on at the moment, soul-v.com, you will actually see I've got a blog post about how to eat more protein for breakfast. But obvious ideas are you can have eggs, Greek yogurt, for instance. You can include seeds and nuts in your breakfast meals. You can also supplement a bit with protein powders and that sort of thing. Some people even go much further and have fish or meat, which is also very possible, very balanced, and it can give you, certainly if you're trying to lose weight, some very good results, because you will feel very satisfied and full for much, much longer. Another big one, and which I think many people may not quite do, is eat vegetables with every meal, and eat enough vegetables with every meal. Vegetables can be a little bit boring sometimes, but they're actually delicious. I love vegetables. I love salads as well. So experiment with them a little bit so that you find that love of vegetables, because vegetables give you so many nutrients, they give you so many vitamins, and they fill you up and they make you feel full of energy and really, really good. So it's essential that you eat vegetables with every single meal. And for fat loss, you should really try to focus on eating most of your carbohydrates after you exercise, meaning that you essentially, although I don't want to talk about calories, so don't think about it in that term, but think a little bit about earning your carbohydrates. If you're trying to lose weight, eat carbohydrates only on the days that you exercise, and ideally after the exercise, just to make sure that you don't miss out on the exercise and you've had the carbs anyway. So that's a really good way to try and limit your carbohydrate intake, and you will see fat loss results very quickly as a result. And eat healthy fats daily. Ideally, with every meal, you include a little bit of healthy fat. So that can be coconut fat, it could be organic butter, it could be, there are so many nice oils, olive oil, nut oils, avocado, nuts. There are many options to choose from. So that's really what constitutes both very balanced eating and what will lead to fat loss if you do this consistently. I have a resource for you as well, which is my Pinterest library. I've created a Pinterest library just for you to use. It's an open library. You can access it as you want, and it's got a very large collection of recipes for everyday and weekend cooking. It's all healthy and balanced meals. There are lots of different options. It's really food that suits the whole family. So there's no reason for you to cook, in my opinion, 2 or 3 different meals. You can just cook one meal that the whole family can enjoy. They're mostly very fast and simple recipes, and there are actually even some exercise ideas as well, and it's all in one place for you to use when you need it. You can access it via my Facebook group, Feel Fab Lab, or you can search in Pinterest for Feel Fab Lab as well. The Pinterest library is also called Feel Fab Lab. Another thing is to fit in regular exercise. That's obviously very, very important. You know it already, I'm sure. But it is an essential tool in order to feel good in yourselves. And in order to get started, I would suggest that you follow this rule of the 2 R's, because too often we start with something and then we get stuck and we stop doing again because we set ourselves up for failure, essentially. So the rule of the 2 R's is R number 1, keep it realistic. Find something that you enjoy and then be realistic in terms of how much you do it and how often. And sort of a little feeler for testing that is to try and see whether you actually feel 80 to 90% sure that you can stick to it. And if you feel that, if you know deep down inside yourself that this is a fairly realistic schedule, then go ahead and get started. And number 2 is to keep it regular, because regularity, just like with your being consistent with the diet, regularity is really what will give you the biggest results. Just be regular in your routine and you will start to feel the difference. It's actually that simple. And in terms of these, what are your current priorities? Are you currently fitting in? Is exercise, does that fit in your life as a priority at the moment? Do you currently manage to do a minimum of, for instance, 5 minutes yoga every day? Or would it be a good time for you to maybe start looking at your daily planning and see if there's anything that you could change in order to fit in those 5 minutes? It doesn't actually have to be much more than 5 minutes just to get started. If you could do 5 minutes of yoga every day, or a little mini circuit training or anything like that. There are so many apps. There are workouts on the internet. You have some free workouts on my website as well. It could be anything, but just to get started, but to do a little bit every single day. And whatever you decide to do, write it in your diary and then treat it just like you would any work meeting or a child's birthday or a dinner date with your husband or a coffee morning with your best friend. It should not be that little optional thing that you do if you can find time for it. It should really end up being a priority in your life. So to make it happen, have a clear plan for what you want to do. What's the activity you want to do? Decide on that right now. Is it going to be yoga? Is it going to be circuit training? Is it going to be 5 minutes every morning, every evening? Whatever it is you decide on it right now, and then put it in your diary. Put exactly in your diary when you will do it. So if it's at 6 o'clock every morning, put it in your diary, and then you set your alarm clock and you get up and do it. Personally, I think that do it early is the most likely way to make it happen. If I don't do my exercise early, I am very much less likely to actually get it done. And be organized. Don't leave anything to chance. Know exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. Have the equipment ready. Make it easy for yourself. Have your clothes ready, whatever equipment you need for it. Have the YouTube video already open, so you just have it in your favorites. You can click it anytime. Have the DVD in your DVD player, whatever it takes, or the playlist in your telephone if you're going running. Have it ready. Make it easy for yourself. Have your clothes ready and make it real. No excuses allowed. It's just something you get up and do. And do what you enjoy. Don't take up a running program if you hate running, or if the weather is awful, or if it's the wrong time of year. Do something that you think you're a little bit more likely to enjoy. Maybe yoga is more your thing. Whatever it is you enjoy, just find that. Maybe it's something to do with a friend. Sit down, feel it inside of yourself, decide what it is you want to enjoy, and then plan it in and get started with it already tomorrow. So what would be your realistic and regular exercise program for the next 3 months? That would be my question for you. So have a think about that. And now on to the habits. Really, the habits is what will take you to where you want to be for life, rather than having to do do fixes, shorter term fixes. And in order to create lasting habits, there are a few things you need to address, a few things you need to ask yourself. And once you do this properly, then these new habits is really what will transform your body and your life going forwards, and which will mean that you can completely wave goodbye to any more diets or to any more not feeling good in yourself. So to create the change you want, you need to start with your what and your why. So your goal, what is it exactly you want to achieve? Do you want to be looking like a supermodel, or do you want to just lose a couple of kilos? Maybe you have health reasons you need to take into account. What is your exact goal? Be very, very clear on that. Write it down. Be very clear on it, and don't be unrealistic either. Don't try for something that you can't do because there is no point. But that doesn't mean you can't be ambitious and you can't be demanding. But be very clear on your goal more than anything else. And then after that, ask yourself why. Why does that actually matter to you? What is it you want to achieve by doing this goal? So if it is to lose weight, for instance, usually it's not the weight itself that interests us. It tends to be how we want to be perceived by others, perhaps. Maybe we work in a very demanding work environment with where other people are perceiving us in a certain way. So is that what drives you? Is it looking good for your husband, perhaps? Or maybe it's to be a good example for your children. Maybe it's to be able to do more activities with your children. Whatever it is, it's for you to be clear on why do you want this and why does it actually matter to you. So be really, really clear on those things, what you want to achieve and why, because these are what's going to create the cornerstone of your inner motivation to actually getting where you want to be. And then you're going to start to identify the action that will move you towards it. And you're going to commit and take that action every single day. That's what's going to take you there. So for instance, if we're talking about weight loss, then you could start with one or more of the habits that I listed before. So for instance, you could say that from now onwards, you will start to eat slowly and to 80% full. Maybe you just stick with that one habit. And you do that consistently for a while until it becomes a habit that you have ingrained in yourself. Similarly, you could start with just having protein or more vegetables with your meals. Whatever is the one that you are the weakest in, that's the one you should start with. So once you have your what you're longing to achieve and your why it's important for you to achieve this, put these goals side by side with your current exercise schedule and with your current nutrition, your diet, and take a good look. Does it actually match? How far away are you? Are you dreaming of looking like a Bond girl or a supermodel, but you actually never managed to spend any real time in your body? You sort of eat what's on your plate and you don't get around to exercising, or not? And then take a little bit of an honest look at this. I don't want you to be judgmental. It's definitely not about being judgmental about yourself, because that doesn't lead to anything. You should always be with a positive look, but just a realistic look at how far or how big is that gap between what you want to do and what you're currently doing. And then from that, you start to adjust your action just little by little to take some inspired action from now onwards. So what will that be? I would like to know from you. Where do you feel that you should start? And do write it down. The first steps towards actually seeing some real action, getting yourself into action and seeing results, is to write it down. Writing it down makes it much more real. So write down your goals, write down your why, and write down the action you're going to take and when. So I would be very, very happy to talk to you about this if you want to. I would be delighted to offer you a free call to start talking about where you could start with this. If you're interested in doing that, come on to my Facebook group, Feel Fab Lab. You can find it on Facebook. You can also go via my website, solveig.com, which is the one you're actually on at the moment watching this webinar. And if you are interested, I do offer a free 30-minute call to you. It's one-on-one, and it's completely free, and there's no commitment attached to it. It's purely to give you a better understanding of your needs, to understand what it is you currently need to go forward, to understand where you're currently going wrong, and to get some clarity on your goals and the needs and everything you have going on at the moment, so that you will actually be able to walk away with your first very, very tangible actions to get you where you want to be. So make use of this offer if you want it. I still have some free spaces, so if you want to, do let me know, and I'll be very happy to send you my calendar and you can schedule it in. But before that, I'll take you through the steps to success as well, in terms of how to reach your goals. So this is some of the things that I would work with you on one-on-one if you did do the call. So when we want to move towards success, when we want to reach our goals, when we want to see results, one very, very key thing to doing this is actually to move towards your goal only one step at a time. This is actually, it sounds so simple, but it's crucial to achieving success, because the more goals you do, or the more goals you focus on at the same time, the less likely you are to succeed. In actual fact, a lot of research has shown that if you focus on just one goal at a time, consistently for about a month, you are about 80% likely to succeed on this goal. But if you start focusing on two goals at the same time, suddenly your likelihood to succeed on either one of these goals drops to no more than 20%. So focus on one step at a time. Really get your foundations right. Be a little bit patient here. It doesn't take very long, actually, because you can focus on one goal just for a few weeks and you move on. You can add more, and the better you get at it, you can probably introduce more as well. But that is a very, very solid piece of advice, is to focus on one goal at the time, one step at a time. Another thing is to focus on your behavior, not on the outcome. So have a very good, honest look at your current behavior. Look at what you're doing that doesn't take you in the right direction, and then focus on changing that. Take a look at your own limiting factors as well. What are your biggest weaknesses? Where is it you go wrong the most? Is it not having enough inspiration? Is it, do you have too many temptations? Is it, do you never get around to exercising? Whatever it is, you have to take a look at the limiting factors and to start eliminating these. This can be easier for an external person to do this, so maybe work with a good friend or your husband to try and understand what these limiting factors are, because sometimes it can be hard actually to know what we're doing ourselves. And start with just a few behavior goals only. Don't do everything at a time. Don't think like 1st of January, complete body, mind, life, work, everything, makeover. Just start with just a few things at the time. Maybe start with one behavior goal for your diet and one behavior goal for your exercise, but not, of course, running a marathon in a week, but something realistic and that you can stick to and do on a regular basis. And then introduce accountability and adherence tools as well. So track what you're doing, have maybe a workout buddy for accountability, or work with a coach, anything that it takes to feel accountable and to adhere to your new goals. And your mindsets. You need to work on your mindset as well. If you want these things to be lasting, then really what you want to do is to develop your own health and fitness mindset, which is really what will mean that you will never ever need to ever consider a diet again, because it will just be the way that you are, the way that you live, and the way that you see yourself. So I'll take you through the guiding principles that I work with, which are: 1, eat a clean and balanced diet. We have been through what that actually means, but just focus on doing that fairly consistently in your life. It doesn't mean that you can't have a nice Friday night dinner or that you can't have a social life, but overall, make sure that your diet is clean and balanced. At least 80% should be clean, balanced, nutritious food. And create change from within. So don't try and force things through just with willpower. Willpower is in short supply. When you run out of it, it's not going to happen anymore. So change from within and be mindful in what you do. Think about what you do, enjoy what you do, and make sure it fits with you. And enjoy the journey. Do things that you enjoy. Don't think of exercise as punishing yourself, for instance. Find things that you enjoy so that it can really become part of that lifestyle that you want to have. And persevere. This will not happen overnight. It is a patience thing. It is something that will require a continuous effort on your behalf. So persevere. Do not give up if after 1 or 2 weeks you don't feel so different. Measure yourself as well. Keep a track of the actual results. Maybe you don't see quite as much as you are actually experiencing. So do that as well. You can also keep a diary, keeping track of how you feel. So write down how you're feeling after you eat certain meals. And do not deprive yourself. Deprivation is really short-lived, so do not deprive yourself. Don't go overboard either. It's not a green card to eat chocolate every day, but deprivation is not the way forward. And be good to yourself. This is not about punishing yourself at all. Be good to yourself, love what you see in the mirror. Even if you're not happy with what you have today, do make a conscious effort to be appreciative of what you've got. Be grateful for what you've got. You've got a body that functions, and that's already a pretty good first step. And I'm pretty sure that you are pretty amazing. So you need to reconnect with that amazing bit and have some fun as well, and start just working from that very good foundation to get the improvements that you want on top of what you've got, but without thinking that what you've got right now is a really negative thing. So mindset really does matter. And here are a few little mindset lessons you can use in order to start shifting your mindset to be one for long-term health and fitness. Number 1 being patience and longevity. Learn to accept and enjoy the process. Stop thinking so much about the end result, but think about the process. Enjoy the process, be in the process, and make it yours. So adapt it to what you enjoy. Don't take somebody else's fitness routine and try to follow that without having your heart in it, because it won't last. So learn to accept where you are. Don't feel like you're a victim either. I think some of us are born with more curves than others. It may feel unjust, but we do have to accept what we've got to work with, and it'll make everything else much easier if we do. Develop an abundance mindset as well. For a start, know that there is always more chocolate cake. Even if you have to say no to this one, then there will be another one tomorrow. We live in a world where there is an abundance of just about everything. So keep that in mind. And also, don't think that if you can't do your workouts today, then you're not going to do anything at all. It's not an all or nothing thing. So keep in mind that even just doing 5 minutes every day is better than not doing anything at all. So let go of that all or nothing attitude, where you feel that, okay, well, I haven't got time to do my 1.5 hours grueling circuit training, so therefore I will do nothing at all. So a little bit every single day is a lot better than not doing anything. So keep that in mind. Keep your abundance mindset on form and active, and be mindful. That's mindset lesson number 3. Be mindful. Turn off the autopilot and tune into the now a little bit more often. Also, when you eat, do not read or watch TV while you're eating. Be really mindful in what you do. Be mindful in where you are right now, and be appreciative of everything that's going on around you. Be mindful when you're exercising as well. Don't treat it as something that should just get done and over with. It should be it should really be something that you do with pleasure, and that you consciously are enjoying as you're doing it. So what you've learned today is really eating for health. It's eating for weight loss as well, and I've given you some resources for cooking and eating well every day as well. I've shown you how to make time for exercise and how to make it happen as well. And we've talked a little bit about how to create lasting habit change as well. So the secret to success we've looked at as well, through shifting habits and mindset change, which is really what you have to integrate as part of yourself, your way of living, if you want to really shift from finding temporary solutions to being the best you that you can possibly be for the rest of your life. And it is possible, I promise you. So now it's your turn. Do you have any questions for me? I will just see if I can switch over to the chat here to see what I've got. And I can see, so one question here is cooking for the whole family. And yes, I know it can be hard sometimes to cook for the whole family. It can be, sometimes children can be a little bit picky. But in my own experience, it's really what it all comes down to is exposing the children to lots of different foods. So ideally eat with them. I don't actually think that children, apart from, of course, you don't want, if they're very young, you want to maybe limit the ingredients you put in. But you, more than anything, you want to expose them to lots of different foods. Maybe go easy on the salt and the spice, at least while they're young. Mine still don't like spicy food so much. The oldest one does, but the other ones don't so much. But I think eating as a family is a lot. It's a very positive thing to do if you want them to be exposed to lots of different foods, and to really start enjoying lots of different foods. And that's the best place to start, because in actual fact, if the children see you, if they see you eating lots of things, that it'll make them curious, so they want to start it again. So yes, basically, my biggest recommendation for that would be to eat as a family. Just cook simple meals, delicious simple meals with lots of different flavors. You can always start to introduce it as a bit of maybe almost a side dish to something. You should cook something you know the children like pasta or chicken or whatever they like, and then you have something else with it as well, and slowly ease it in. I still have my youngest. There's still some things that she won't eat, but actually overall, they're getting pretty good at eating just about anything, and they really enjoy food as well, which I think is important as well. Another question. Yeah, about change. Yes, I mean the thing with change is that change can be a really big thing. It can be really hard to introduce. So probably my biggest recommendation for change would be to keep it manageable, not to make it too drastic. So although we want, of course, to make change happen, then if you do it too drastic, then you are again setting yourself up for failure potentially. So keep it a little bit realistic. Don't go too crazy, and make it happen a little bit more gradually over time. And motivation, yes, motivation is a big thing as well. To keep motivated, one thing is in your mindset, to actually talk positively to yourself and about your activities as well. This is quite important. This is one way to keep motivated. So, for instance, once you have identified this sport that you enjoy doing, this activity that you like, the physical activity that you enjoy doing, well, then stick to it. But keep talking positively about it as well. Do not sort of say to yourself, I have to do this again, and think about it like that. Try to really be positive and try to actually just say to yourself, even if maybe you don't enjoy it so much to start with, try to say to yourself, oh yes, I'm going to the gym tomorrow, I love it. And also the keep measuring your results, keep track of that, and that in itself is a really, really big motivator. So with that, I will leave you for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so pleased to have everybody here, and do go to my let's see if I can get it up here, to my Facebook group. Do join me over there for any questions you have, additional questions. I covered the ones I could immediately see here that I could cover today, but you are very welcome to ask questions as well in my Facebook group, Feel Fab Lab. Questions are always welcome, so do come over there and keep asking your questions. Keep working towards your healthy, beautiful, vibrant you, and let me know how you get along. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you very much for being here with me today.